Hi, my name is Zubair Ansari. I'm the CTO for Science System. In this video, I'm going to talk about Science System multi-factor authentication solution for virtual systems, servers, desktop, laptops, on-premise or in clouds like Azure, Amazon, Rackspace, and other infrastructure as a service cloud, and why it is important to have a multi-factor authentication solution to protect the systems that are hosted in the cloud and enterprise. Let's take a look at the typical enterprise architecture of today. On premise, you have data centers, and typically they're hosting your servers, virtual machines, other services like IaaS server, SQL, email, and so on and so forth. And you may have subscription to a cloud, public cloud, and that host other services and virtual machines. And in some cases, you may also have private cloud that host other virtual machines and other servers. And these are interconnected with each other. That means enterprise systems can see the systems and resources that are in the cloud and vice versa. How did the user base connect to the resources in the cloud, for example? They use something called remote desktop, and they remote desktop into a virtual machine and connect to it from anywhere in the world. And they do this by providing the username and password, and after the authentication they get connected to it, and they're on the box and they can use it, and they can view all the resources, and they have access to. Now, what is wrong with this? If the username and password is compromised, then potentially the hacker has entire enterprise access. And of course, it depends on the user and what privileges that user has. At the least, the hacker has access to the box and some of the other resources that they can view, and they can try to elevate the privileges. Now, another key point here is in that environment, it takes only one account credential compromise for the complete breach of security. Now, once the security is breached, hacker can steal your critical data of your enterprise. And in addition, hackers can create other accounts without your knowledge and permission on the system that they have connected to. And even if you change the passwords, they still have the accounts they have created, and they can use those accounts to connect to it. And these new accounts, you may not even know that those accounts has been created as um, protect your investment, make it difficult for hackers. How would you do that? Add another layer of protection, and by adding science system out-of-band multi-factor authentication that will protect, and add one more additional layer of security to your virtual machines, servers, desktop, in the cloud or on premise. What is multi-factor authentication? Multi-factor authentication is simply after you provide the username and password to log in, it asks for another proof in the form of one-time password that is sent to your mobile, or a USB key, a key specially generated for that machine so that you can attach it and the system lets you log in. Or it can be one-time password sent to email or challenge questions that you have to answer, and then you're uh, let in and you have the access. Let's take a look at it, how multi-factor authentication works and why it is more secure than the single factor authentication. Let's take an example of XYZ company, and they typically have a domain. It can be a generic LDAP directory or Active Directory or Office 365. They will have SAN system multi-factor authentication service, They're connected to each other. They're on different servers. They can be in the cloud or they can be within premise. Now, a set of user wants to connect to the services that are in the enterprise or in the cloud. So they launch remote desktop and they get the login screen. And from the login screen, they provide the username password. They get authenticated to uh, Active Directory or domain. After the authentication, a message is sent to the SAN system multi-factor authentication service for second factor authentication. Depending on the configuration, the second factor authentication service sends a message back to the login machine and says, hey, um, which second factor you like to use. In our case, let's use mobile. So the user chooses one-time password over mobile. The multi-factor authentication service through the SMS gateway sends a one-time password pin to your mobile that the user enters it in the following screen, and the pin is sent for verification to the service, and after the verification you log into the box. Now you have the access. So the idea here is it's difficult to hack into two different authentication channels. Let's take a look at Science System multi-factor solution in action in Azure. Here is the Azure screen, and this is the portal. And on the left side, I have taken on the names of the virtual machines. Here you see the list of virtual machines. We'll try to connect to one of the virtual machines, and we'll use the remote desktop to connect to it. Here, I'll provide the username and the password, as you can see. And once I enter the password, I click OK, and the system takes me in, and it says sign in, and it is asking me to enter the password again. This is a good thing because otherwise hackers can write scripts or can uh, run malware programs that can automate the process of launching our remote desktop and entering the username password. This way, it asking for the second time, the dictionary attacks and scripted attacks will not work. Here you enter the password again, then a message comes back from the multi-factor authentication service, and you choose the form of multi-factor authentication that you would like. It depends on the administrative configuration. You can disable the administrator can disable some of these options if they'd like to. In our example, we'll choose one-time password over mobile, and we'll enter the mobile one-time password that we got on mobile. And once that gets authenticated, we get logged in. Now, some of the key benefits of multi-factor authentication solution. It's easy to deploy, simple and secure, doesn't require any specialized hardware like specialized USB keys or cards or other type of hardware. You can use the challenge questions one-time passwords, or you use the generic USB key and we write a form factor on it token, and that token gets updated after every few days, and that token is tied to your machine, that particular machine only. Other benefit is only users that are enabled for multi-factor can log in. That means if you have 10 user and multi-factor is enabled only for one machine, only that user will be able to log into the machine. The other 9 accounts will not be able to log in. So it protects from hackers who create other accounts whether they are domain based or local login. All the interactive remote desktop connection to non-multi-factor enable accounts is blocked. So protect your investment, make it difficult for hackers by implementing the sign system